realistic comic books. realcomicbooks.com.
Hey everybody, happy Tuesday. You know what that means. That's right. Get to see my beautiful face again. Boy, I feel like I've been doing this show for 400 years. And every single time someone keeps saying, well, not should say someone, there's quite a few people always talk about anime. And I finally said, all right, enough. We have some news to report in a little bit, but enough was enough. And before, listen. Once I let all you guys know about the news, then you understand why I'm doing this anime show. But I'm actually kind of looking forward to it because as someone on the outside looking in, and Dan wants me to do all the voices as much as possible. I'm curious because I actually have some questions about this anime manga sensation that's been going on. So let's get into this. So let's go with the best colored man in the business, the man's who opinions mean something.
What's up, my brother? I apologize in advance for any kind of technical difficulties. I don't know what's going on. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know what it is. It's all that anime talk. It's stupid. Then we got Sam.
My brother
barely made it. Good job, Sam. Sam's like, I'm not going to miss this shit.
Just got out of work. I'm excited to bore Caesar for the next
it on whatnot.
2 hours.
Crushed it on whatnot.
Oh, it was crazy. That was the craziest show I've ever done.
Did you really? Right before this one?
No.
Oh, no.
It was during the weekend.
I was going to say. Then we got my brother from another color. There you go. What's going on there, Ish?
Ish, my dude.
Ish, the Sith Lord. And then we have our special guest, because we had him on last week. We found out he also likes the anime. Was able to meet this guy in person. I was able to meet this guy on Friday and Saturday. We got to hang out. Fantastic human being, and a friend of the show. We got Mr. Ben Bates. Look at that. The talented Ben Bates. You should see his OAs, guys. No joke. He's not fucking around. If you guys don't know who Ben Bates is, Google his ass, look at his stuff, and go to his IG, follow him, look at all his work. He's
Don't Google his ass. Like Google him.
No, you could Google his ass.
Sam coming in with the zinger.
Yeah, dude,
I'm gonna make sure to follow you.
Yeah, no, make sure you follow him because he's very talented. I got to see it firsthand. So, all right, everybody. Wow. Wow. Anime. And then we forget Sam has 12 kids in the house.
Mm-hmm.
Anime. You know, all season long, all year long, even last year, they kept talking about anime. And I kept on like anime. But you know what? I gave in. You know, I never smoked pot before in my life because I don't deal well. I don't peer pressure doesn't get to me. But for some fucking reason, the peer pressure anime poked me in my booty. And I was like, that's
a year of wearing you down.
Can I get put at the bottom, man? I just need to be at the bottom. I need a timeout.
Oh, I'll grant you that, fool. I'll drop you out.
Don't do it.
I think we all need a timeout.
You know, but before we say anything, got some extra news about the comic menu, everybody. So we have this week, obviously today's show. Then we have next week's show, and on the 28th of April, is it the 28th or the 26th? What's next Tuesday?
28th.
The 28th of April will be the last show of the comic menu. That's right, people. The comic menu will no longer be. The band's breaking up, all in good terms. Dell is he's focused on other things, work, family, career. So yeah, no more comic menu. I think he might be keeping the page, or he might pause it. I don't know what he's going to do, but no need to fear. Caesar and his gangly group is still here because we're going to be. I'm going to be breaking off and starting my own podcast. That's right. Once it's gonna be called the we were still talking about it, but most likely it's gonna be the Real Dracula's Wolf podcast after dark. I like the after dark because you know why? Because we get a little sassy. Some language, some content. Sometimes the show doesn't end at 11 o'clock at night for you East Coast people.
We don't get
it's
sassy.
Gonna happen. It's gonna happen, man.
We don't get
so
sassy.
Our first show will be May 12th. And it will be with Cold Blue Comics and Crime City. They've been pretty good at starting it off of the year, and I figured, you know what? Let's talk some pre-code. It's always fun to talk pre-code with those guys. That's some knowledgeable shit between those two guys.
What up, Dell?
So that's the speaking of shit. So yeah, man, you know, it was a good run with myself and Dell, and we've been doing this for a long time, you know, with the past podcasts, even before this one, the Comic Fanzine, and then Dell and I broke off. But you know, Dell he's doing some stuff. You know, he's focusing on that career and the kids and his 13 kids, you know, and being a dad and all that stuff. So. Yeah, man, this is going to be good. So the Real Dracula's Wolf podcast after dark will be starting May 12th, the first show. I'll have a YouTube channel. I already have an intro. I'll be dropping some stuff here and there on my on my Instagram, so you see what's going on. I got to start from scratch. So everybody, once I'm ready, go over there, give myself a like, a follow, and all that good stuff. But same content, but we're going to twist it up a little bit. We're going to have some theme shows. We got some stuff lined up. with some fantastic guests, and I'm pretty sure Ben will be on a couple of those shows
All right.
a few times because he's a friend of mine, if you know what I'm saying. All right, everybody, let's get to why you're here. The fucking anime. Oh God, where do you start? Anime's been around since the beginning of time. I feel like since I was a wee little nerd, I was watching stuff like Battle of the Planets, Speed Racer. Actually, I love Speed Racer.
Love Speed Racer.
Speed Racer was, I liked it so much that when they made that real life, the live movie, I was like, nope, I'm not even going to attempt to watch that.
What?
Yeah, no, I never saw the thing.
It's amazing.
Yeah, I never saw. There's Dell right there. Look at that.
Dell.
13 kids, this motherfucker. Jeez.
Yeah, what can I say? He must have dropped a couple. Yeah, man, Dell. We had a nice little run, man. It was good. It was good. We had some fun times. I got to tell you, because of Dell, I'm the reason why I kind of got into this. Dell was part of a different group for the comic fanzine, and he asked me to be a guest once, and then I ended up becoming a regular, and then we broke off, started this, and because of Dell, I was able to meet quite a lot of actually new people, very cool friends. Because of the show, I got to meet Ish, and because of Ish, I got to meet Sam. It's this weird thing, right? We got to meet a lot of cool creators, became friends with a lot of artists.
You weren't kidding. We're really going to talk about manga and anime for the last 10 minutes of this show.
I told you. I was sitting here thinking the same thing. Like,
it's by design. It's by design. I gotta give the due, man. I mean, we've been doing this for a long time, and next week will be the last show, and it is what it is, But onwards and upwards, and I gotta start from scratch, but. You guys just go ahead and just follow me. And if you ever see Dale on the street, scream out to him that, give him support for his 24 kids and say, hey, hang in there. Hang in there, Dale.
And it's hard. I'm currently helping Tabitha grow her business. So I've been really busy getting numbers and so yeah, I wanted to come back in January, but then I don't know. I just focused on work. Like you knows, I've been doing a lot of overtime. I've been doing 3 weeks straight overtime. But I'm working nonstop. So and then he said, I saw there was an anime talk. Caesar talking anime? Nah.
I know some stuff.
Yeah,
I just don't know what
happens.
Stuff.
So don't worry about it.
All right. Enough. I know. So next week I'll announce it again in the last show, but just giving you guys a heads up. All right, here we go. Let's talk about anime and this phenomenon. I don't know if it's me, but I have seen this.
Let me kick off with this, Caesar. Let me kick us off this way because I know you, and I know. It took us convincing you to even get this show. And I'm not throwing hate at you. I get it. A lot of people are that way. But let me give you some numbers here just to kind of let you know that the people on this panel that are here to talk manga and anime aren't the exception anymore. They're more of the rule. Global anime is projected to rise from 34.9 billion that's today to 78.9 billion. That's with a B. Okay.
It's the fastest rising medium in the American market since 2022. It's crazy.
And these are global,
double and triple
global
sales from year to year.
Yeah. Crunchyroll subscribers grew from 10 million in 2022 to 17 million by 2025. And Netflix reported over 1 billion anime views in 2024. So this is no longer like a discussion that you go to the special room and have. This is it's now infiltrating pop culture. So
plus there have been 2 major anime movie releases in the past year that did.
I mean, Demon Slayer probably was the best movie, the most successful movie the year it came out.
And then
So-
you have all
And I
these
believe 2
people.
Marvel films came out that year and the Superman movie, right?
So,
Okay, so let me ask you guys this: if this is, I mean, I'm not saying you're lying with your numbers, Dan. I 100% believe them. Why now? Why is this? Why is this sudden? I don't know if it's a slow burn of growth or if it's a straight shot of growth. Why? Did it take this
It's
long
not
for the American
necessarily
people to kind of get it?
it's not necessarily now. It's a slow burn, but you got to consider, and I'm sure Sam and Dan will add to it. But you have to consider that Americans have been exposed to anime regularly for the majority of the 21st century, right? Through things like
Yep.
Dragon Ball, through Naruto, through Bleach, like the big three, right? One Piece, like they kind of been exposed for the majority of the 21st century. So now we're at a place where people grew up on this stuff. Not the majority of people, but enough people that they're now going back and reading the manga. They're going back and they're buying the manga. Like my niece, for instance, right? I can't get her to read a comic book. When she was 12, all she wanted was manga, Chainsaw Man, and manga in the eyes of kids are outselling comic books. Like they're not going into comic book stores, they're going to the mall and they're buying manga because they can go online and read it and get a waifu and fall in love with this character or that character, and they can now read it online and have access to it.
Honestly, anime is a pop culture icon at this point. Do you know how many people pose? Professional athletes pose with different anime people. Like
Cosplayers and cons.
Yeah,
it's crazy. There's a lot of references everywhere in movies. Now, remember. Go ahead, Danny.
No, I was going to say, even to your point, you're right on the money. Even pro athletes, celebrities, they're hosting these shows now. They're coming out and they're acknowledging that they watch these shows. I mean, in my own backyard with the Cleveland Browns, my manga anime fan. I mean, he'll tell you the stuff he's watching. I think that the ascendancy is due to a couple reasons. I think first of all, accessibility is easier now with technology. Like before, it was a little bit harder to obtain, but now with streaming services and with publishers offering it now, it's available more readily than it was in the past. So I think that certainly helps. I think
especially
with the Gen Z crowd, right. I mean, I think with the Gen Z crowd, it appeals to that crowd because it offers such a range and depth of stories, whatever you like. Like you can find a manga and an anime that will fit that taste. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm doing a lot of speaking here. I really would defer to Ben as our creative, our major creative influence on the show to see what he thinks about it. But I can turn on pretty much anything and find a show to watch. So
you want to add on to that. One thing. Okay, I'm sorry, Ben. Go ahead.
No. Add on.
Go ahead, Dan.
So what I wanted to say is that a lot of nowadays, a lot of people watch short clips of everything, right? So a short clip of an awesome show will get you interested. Like, I wonder what the show is, right? So that's what a lot of people are going to. Like, I need to find out what this is. I need to see. Oh, that's a cool part. Oh, this is what episode 4. I gotta watch the first 3 episodes. That's what they do. You give you a little sample. Right, it's something awesome. And they want to find out what it is.
And some of this stuff is so hot that they cut it up and they make TikTok reels and they literally just 30-second reels of just action scenes.
I'm guilty. I'm guilty of that because anime all of a sudden now it's showing up on my algorithm on Instagram, and I see a clip of something. I go, hey, that's pretty badass. All right, and no joke, no, it's pretty badass. But then I go, and I try to find the name, and it's like whatever the fuck it was, and I was like, I'm out, and then I just keep on scrolling. So Ben, what are your thoughts on all this of this popularity and everything else?
I think Dan, you hit the nail on the head that manga has always offered a lot more in terms of genre and audience reach, and there are some other parts that I'm curious. Well, like that about how the audience, I mean, so like TikTok, that's an interesting example, right? That they're getting these little tastes and stuff of it. But I'm curious about some of your guys' experience recently. So I live up in Wyoming in a relatively small town, And we have like a local bookstore that has a very small amount of manga, or like there's a Walmart that'll have some of the main titles. You'll find Spy X Family and stuff like that there. But I'm curious about like where are people buying manga? Like where do you guys buy your manga? Do you go physically into a store? And then that's what I'm wondering about too with like a younger generation nowadays too. Go ahead. Looks like
I don't read manga.
Oh, okay.
I watch anime. I don't read manga at all.
Gotcha.
However,
I do.
However, as a retailer, for the past 2 years, I've been strategically trying to get into manga. Obviously, I don't know enough about it I want to make sure I'm buying the right things.
Mhm.
But I go around and like a manga shop opens in our mall here, and it's constantly filled. Like constantly filled with teenagers. You know what I mean? You go
Well, after hearing those numbers that Dan was dropping, I mean, it's a thing.
Listen, go into Barnes and Nobles, go into BAM. They've got
Barnes and
massive
Nobles
sections,
entire sections
in the center of their store. In the center of their store for manga now, it's like not even a joke. Meanwhile, and I'm a mainstream.
It's been that way for a while
guy, so
too.
that stuff is shoved on the back wall in the back.
Okay, so this is probably where
ahead,
primarily the young. And I apologize. Like moving between anime and manga, like they're often the same thing in some ways because I'm watching what I'm reading and stuff like that.
Yep.
So definitely when we stick to anime, I'll try to keep on track with that. But so that makes perfect sense. Barnes and Noble, like this is going to be a hub where a lot of young people and all over the place that they can come in and they can find manga. And part of what what I believe I heard was the different ways of being exposed to the potential titles online.
Dan reads a lot of it online,
and so do I.
I read all of it online.
Okay, now I'm gonna be upfront. Like, I like to pirate things before I purchase things. I don't like wasting money. So, and there's also a lot of manga that isn't translated. Like, one of my favorite mangas, apparently, maybe it's just recently. I need to look into it. It's a horror manga called Monkey Peak. Have you guys ever heard of that?
Mm-mm.
I didn't think that was going to be translated into English, and when I initially read it. Anyway, the point is, like, I'll purchase that now that it is in America and stuff. So, I'm not against testing the waters to find out what you want. So I'm curious, Sam, Dan, when you're reading, are you guys strictly, unless you don't want to, get into this territory, are you, subscribing to some sort of service? Like, where are you reading your manga at?
I'm reading it on the the app.
I'm in
read on
apps right
Crunchyroll.
now. So Crunchyroll.
Yeah, Crunchyroll, you
if
can
you
read it.
subscribe to Crunchyroll and you do the ultimate package, you get Crunchyroll manga included with it. So it's kind of, if you don't want to do Crunchyroll, there's literally on my phone right now, I'll read you, Ben, some of the apps. There's the Shonen Jump app, right?
That's the one I'm using.
Weeklies. There's the Viz manga, which is where I'm reading a lot of my other titles. There's Kodansha's manga, right? It's Kodansha, their publisher's app. There's an app called Manga Up. There's an app called Tapas, Tapas. An app called Mangamo. So depending on what you want to read, I think the main four in my mind are Shonen Jump, Viz Manga, K Manga, and Manga Up. Like, I think those are the four where you can read the majority of the stuff you want. But even
but hold on, let me ask you, do they all help me understand why have so many apps for? Is it just one app have them all?
It's like Marvel and DC kind of, but it's like different licenses.
Gotcha. All right, so it's not the one app that rules them all when it comes to this. It's all, some apps don't. All right, okay, got it. That kind of makes sense.
There are other
Netflix and then having Hulu.
You got to imagine, right? The overall manga library, and we're not talking the anime library, is arguably as big as the American comic market.
Sure.
Right? So you got to understand that there's branding, there's I mean, you have so many different, when it comes to anime, right? You have so many categories. Shonen, seinen, slice of life. Like, you have so many different categories of anime, right? And probably the deepest, when it comes to anime now, probably the deepest catalog, because Japanimation in particular has been the bar for animation for almost as long as animation has been a thing. You know what I mean? Like, it's the bar.
Yeah, that kind of makes sense because as you said, Dan, name me or anyone name me a couple categories of anime that there are,
I just named 2.
Hentai.
Well, like Ish said,
except for that one.
there's shonen, which is like battle manga. There's
Okay,
uh,
that's what I like.
There's
The
shoujo.
slice of life.
What
there's
was
slice
that
of life,
again?
There's romance. Go ahead, Del.
Yeah, but what are like you just described it? Shonen is battle. What's a romance one called?
Romance.
Shoujo is,
Oh, just
is,
romance?
is a romance manga. Well, it's called
so, like,
shoujo.
yeah.
And what? And then horror. I'm assuming there's a horror one, right?
There's fantasy.
Mhm.
There's isekai.
That's
There's
I,
Yep.
Interesting. What do you guys prefer? What do you prefer, Ben?
I typically do, horror is a big one for me. I do love shonen, and just an interesting little toss in there about the shonen stuff is that, like, in Japan, as I understand it, Shonen Jump is not strictly limited to battle because it's a phone book size thing.
Yeah,
so shonen refers to the opportunity for comedy, but in America, we typically think of it as battle manga. So it's even wider in the sense of like what they can include in a single volume, I guess.
It's interesting because it's a blanket statement, right? Shonen can include fantasy. It can include volleyball, right? The whole show could be about volleyball and be a shonen show. You know what I mean? And it's competitive and it's like, seriously, the Food Wars, right, is shonen. Right? But
it's good.
It's great. Food Wars is great. You know what I mean?
But and so I guess just Caesar, presumably you're not aware of this, that part of what is reliable about that, though, is under that title of shonen, right? There's a commitment to a certain type of experience.
Yep.
So whether it is the Food Wars or the tennis or something like that, you're coming there because I'm going to like friendship, intensity. So like even if it is like literally
you're gonna see like those old kung fu movies where they like you had the kind that were like trainers, where you knew this movie the guy's gonna get beat up and then he's gonna go find a master and he's gonna spend the whole movie like that's gonna be the formula. That's kind of shonen isn't the same, but you get a formula where guy gets progressively stronger or girl gets progressively stronger, or the teams get progressively better as they compete, you know what I mean, or what have you.
Gotcha.
You're gonna get that type of a formula.
What do you? I'm gonna go around the horn here, and Ben already answered it. Ish, what's your favorite genre of anime?
Shonen, but I do like many genres, and I can watch many shows from different genres. But my favorite is shonen.
Shonen. Dan.
I would say probably slice of life.
Now, slice of life again is like what? Just like romance and
family oriented.
Can be romance.
It could be romance. It could be
comedy,
magic. It could be comedy.
I mean, like for instance, we talk about free run, and free run could go from slice of life to shonen to fantasy. It could just be any one of those.
And just not to take too much, but like that's one of the things I really love about manga is so many of their stories can switch between typically genre. Like I Ghost in the Shell being a great example, and at least especially in the original manga form. It's typically sci-fi and serious, but then he'll draw a super goofy little cartoony version of the character, like exasperated, and so it can swing like that back and forth. And the anime is the same thing. Free Run being a great example. There we go. Free Run typically, keeping itself serious most of the time, but then she'll get her like super cartoony face when she's exasperated or kind of.
And oftentimes at the end of some shonen episodes, oftentimes the art, the anime style will be really serious, and at the end they'll take the characters and they'll make them like a chibi, like a kid style, and they'll be teaching a lesson, or recapping the episode, or so they'll
and I think there's something cool about treating to me it's about treating the audience with a certain level of respect that they can because that's what life is not confined to one genre, right? And so you can move, you're always going to return to your main genre, the point that we're here for, whether it be comedy or drama or something like that. But it can move in those ways without it breaking the world or something.
What about you, Sam? What do you prefer?
I don't have a preference. I watch just based on whatever I find interesting. I'll watch previews and I'll read synopsises, and if it looks good, I'll give it a try. I'll probably watch 1 to 3 episodes, and if I'm not feeling it, I'll stop. I watch a bunch of different types of genres because I'm watching it with like either myself or I'm watching it with my younger kids, so the range of what I'm watching at any given time can change drastically.
And Sam, if I can jump in for there real fast, how old are your kids and what are they showing an interest in?
7 and 4, and I mean they probably shouldn't be watching.
And the 4-year-old
times, but she absolutely loves Frieren right now. We've watched Sailor Moon together. She's on episode 205 of Dragon Ball Z.
Wow.
Dragon Ball Z is tough to watch, man.
It is. She loves it. She
It's
absolutely loves it.
It's tough to watch.
Gohan's her favorite character, but now he's Great Saiyaman, and she's like, "What is happening? Why is he so nerdy?" So it's
adults are saying the same thing. So,
but it's the best thing.
I mean, Frieren is questionable for kids, but then it's not questionable. It's
it's not until then it gets
in this package where kids it appeals to kids.
Yeah, I think when you get to, I forget what city they get to, and then you get the guy stringing people up and like slicing their,
Where you get to episode 7 and she's like,
and she's like, and I'm like, okay, we gotta.
Yeah.
And she slices her own throat.
Now
kill yourself.
I watched an anime one time because Ish asked me to watch it, and it was beautiful. It was called Carol and Tuesday, and it's one of those shows where it's like
favorites.
It's a show where 2 girls want to make it. They live on a terraformed Mars, and they want to make it in the music industry. And it shows how they're navigating that, right? It would have been perfect show for kids. Perfect show, except for one episode. I don't know what they were thinking. Where a Mars has talent competition, and one of the acts in the competition, literally the entire song was the F word. It was like MFer. The whole song, like that was it. And except for that scene, it wouldn't have been rated mature, but it was rated mature legitimately for that. So it's like that's where you kind of really got to be careful, especially when you're watching with young kids, because even the most slice of life, thought out, emotional
out of nowhere, someone will just reach up and grab an ass. You know what I mean? Like it's seriously, like no good reason.
So that is a great point that I'm curious, especially for you who are parents. I'm not a parent myself, but one of the things that has long bothered me about the American, especially the adaptation of some of the localization, I should say, of some of these cartoons or the anime when they come over to America. To me, once again, I like treating children with a certain level of respect, and I'll try not to spend too much time going off in different directions or something. But I worked in animation and comics, and a lot of it was kids' material or properties. And I unfortunately discovered that a lot of people do think of kids stuff as being just for kids, and they're idiots, and so therefore they don't deserve anything of quality, or you don't have to tell stories. So when you get something like One Piece coming to America, the level of alterations that have to be, or in this case, let me use Yu-Gi-Oh as a better example. Are you anybody familiar with Yu-Gi-Oh besides me?
No.
Okay, so some characters will occasionally have a gun. Bandit Keith holds a gun to Pegasus at one key element. Now they edit that in America in a way that's just completely bonkers. He just suddenly jumps up and starts pointing his finger. If I remember, it's been years, but he's it's like he's not holding his gun anymore, but he's doing something that doesn't make any sense. And so in regards to this idea of something that in America we definitely deem inappropriate for kids, or kids content or something, but over in Japan, sticking with Yu-Gi-Oh, it's like all those children are watching this stuff, right? They're seeing Harpy Lady in her original outfit. They're seeing the character suddenly make a move, grabbing somebody's butt or something like that. And as I understand it, Japan is extremely dangerous due to these anime. And I'm curious about you guys as parents, what your opinion about that is.
Well, I would think. Well, before we go that, because I'm going to ask
Japan
Dale
is
twice.
dangerous?
I'm just
Dale, what?
joking with you. That's my
Dale, what is yours? What is your preferred preference? of
Mine has
anime?
always been isekai. When they die in the earth and they get reincarnated
those are
somewhere
really
else,
awesome.
Mm.
and they learn from like them playing games, and then they start up. And
It
then I
becomes a
watch all
shonen.
these.
It becomes
No,
a
it's
shonen.
isekai. Shonen is completely different name.
I mean, I think
Isekai.
I know. I think ReZero's an isekai, and it's like one of my favorites. But it kind of overlaps into the
Because
shonen territory as
because
it progresses.
Shonen, you can go ahead and interpret. You can start the anime where they're people from the same world. An isekai, where you would have to jump from one world to the other
Yeah, I know isekai.
because
I
there's a
watched.
saying
Yeah.
called you get isekai, so it wouldn't be the same.
No, what I
Um,
mean is it crosses into shonen
oh yeah.
territory. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But yeah.
And it's funny because in those isekai shows, they make fun of the whole show. Like, oh, I died and I got isekai to this world. You know what I mean? So it's funny how they do that. And then the names of these animes that I watch are like, I died over here and I got reincarnated as a slime. I got reincarnated
I have to watch
as
that one.
a fridge. I got reincarnated. I'm the seventh son or the eighth of king, or like long ass fucking name. There's whole paragraphs for these titles, and people will still watch them even though they're ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean,
But I think that's the
Yeah.
magic of anime and manga. Like, even like when you look at American cartoons, everything kind of has to make somewhat sense. Manga and anime, they could have the most ridiculous plots.
Yeah, but they're
And-
long form storytelling. too,
Correct,
you know
but
what I
it
mean?
just works somehow.
I mean,
Like if you read a plot
cartoons-
synopsis to Caesar about some of the animes that we probably love, he would be like, "Why are you guys watching?"
You
Yeah, but you got to keep in mind, American cartoons
You know?
weren't American cartoons for the most part were, especially in the '80s, were like commercials to sell toys, right? So they weren't like
I
these
will-
episodic, serialized things. It was you got an episode, you got an episode, you got an episode. Every once in a while, 4 episodes told a story. Where these kids were growing up in Japan in the 60s and 70s watching cartoons that told a long story.
Yeah.
Every episode was a part of the story. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It,
Yeah, it's called
to
Robotech.
piggyback off of, well, to piggyback off of Ben's comment, right, about kids watching stories and how we have to kind of like, I don't want to say water them down, but shift them a little bit to be more appropriate here in this country. I mean, I think anime specifically offers more like emotionally complex narrative, and typically, there's moral depth in the stories. Like there's morals in the stories. Like they're actually teaching you lessons in the story, which I kind of like sometimes, like how you treat people, how you treat relationships, how you are supposed to act in school, and how you're not supposed to act in school, how you should act public, because you're a reflection of your family even when you're out, you're not in front. I mean, there's themes in all these ranges of stories, whether it's for kids or whether it's for adults, which I find truly interesting because you get a little glimpse of the culture of like the Japanese culture in these stories, even though it's not about necessarily Japan. It's just very interesting to kind of pick this up in these stories. So I don't know. I mean, I like it. I think it's I also like that it's you can, especially with slice of life, you can sort of jump in at any point for the most part, right? You might have to double back to figure out who the characters are, but for slice of life specifically, you can jump in and just sort of pick up a volume and read it and be like, oh, that's entertaining.
Kind of like
I think maybe
Shiba Yugi, playing games of death to pay the rent is a slice of life anime, but in a very psychological, horror-driven scenario.
horror. Yeah.
And
So let's go
hold on.
base.
Can
Yeah,
I
go ahead. No,
respond
actually,
to
are you gonna
Ben's
talk
comment?
about? Hold on, Sam. Are you gonna talk about the kids?
Yeah.
Comment?
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead.
I believe that if kids aren't going to see it in a controlled environment, they're going to see it in an uncontrolled environment because the internet is pervasive and content can't be controlled. So from a creative standpoint, I respect creators like you who would want to craft something that is very like tailored and specific, but that does teach children about what's actually happening in the real world. What are the consequences of your actions? What are the consequences of being evil or
This is what a half-dressed woman or guy looks like.
morally ambiguous or deviant? Like it. Sure, there should be an age like warning probably. On
Yes,
the
and there
content.
should be a confinement of what's
course.
allowed and what is.
Yeah, exactly. But
And a seizure
I
warning.
can't stand cartoons and content that my kids watch that are just mindless, like slop. I would rather show them. I mean, I'm watching Batman the Animated Series with my daughter also.
Mhm.
And
This is why I didn't let my daughter watch SpongeBob when she was a kid. It was a one cartoon. Because
There's
if you ever put SpongeBob on and then walk out of the room and listen to it,
Yeah.
it's like 70% gibberish.
Mm.
Literally gibberish. If you just listen to it, you know what I mean?
But look at the transition. I mean, even to Sam's point about Batman the Animated Series, that was that's one of my all-time favorite cartoons, and there were morals. It was very, like it was a building up to a story and an emotional depth there. I feel like Western cartoons nowadays, and I'm not broad brushing it, they're more like slapstick humor, like in-your-face comedy, and to get you to get a quick laugh. But there's not a lot of real emotional depth and range there for age groups to really invest in. And I mean, there are cartoons like that in the West. I'm not saying
I don't know about that. I think there's studios and storytellers out there that are doing it right, that can mix both. It's not anime, but I'll say
I don't know about serialized cartoons.
Bluey is
I will
probably
say about movies.
the best example of that right now, that's mixing like things for adults and for kids, but being able to tell emotionally
I think American animated movies have always been really good about
in-depth
that.
stories.
Movie-wise, I think they've always been really good at showing those themes and doing them successfully and not insulting the audience as well. Tons of movies that they've made that you could take your kids to see and you can enjoy yourself. I think we do that really well. I don't think so much in serialized cartoons when you think of things like Family Guy and Futurama and Rick and Morty, and it is very slapstick.
Oh, but there's morals in Futurama. Like they're telling you something in each episode.
Yeah.
So you're like He-Man.
Society.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
He-Man at the
Simpsons.
end. Because I need the He-Man at the very end that says,
Yeah, we were talking about a terrible cartoon that we all love.
Yeah, I think at that point it was something like He-Man or any of the other cartoons from the 80s or in early 90s with their PSAs. This is a great example where it's of course we want to have morals, and some of these production studios or they're trying to do it, but that's like a ham-fisted way, right? Like He-Man's, the bulk of those. And I appreciate that we, if we can identify like this is a terrible show, but we still like it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I think that's a really important distinction to make. Whereas like He-Man could have been a really great show that folded in real storytelling with those instead of those PSAs at the end. And it's like actually,
22 minute commercials to sell toys, which is why they had to put in the PSAs, you know what I mean?
But I'm a firm believer, and this is part of what drove me into joining the industry, is that even though these are, because I love toys, like I love being able to buy So
but I should have got a cartoon that was as dope as the toy.
Exactly, and
you know what I mean?
Exactly. And I will say that now that I've been in the industry, they don't care about that. So it's hard to.
I watched a reel last year where they talked about the creators of the Transformers animated movie, which we all, many of us thought was great. They didn't expect the response they got when they killed Optimus Prime. Like they crushed a lot of kids, and they did it because they were trying to sell a new line of toys, the next generation of toys, and a whole new. And that's the reason why they did it. And they got so much backlash. They had no idea what they were doing and the impact they were having on like all of these loyal fans who listen, we just want to sell toys.
Yeah.
And something that tied into something I'm curious what you guys will think about this. But a lot of manga is driven, a lot of anime is based on manga. And that manga is basically created by one person. And so you're getting a very clear vision. And I was just looking up some of like Robotech, for example.
Stupid too.
Yes. Manga. So there's a thing I really love. It's a saying or a quote by this dude named Theodore Sturgeon, and it's become something called either Sturgeon's Revelation or Sturgeon's Law. And he was a sci-fi author back in the mid 20th century. And they asked him, "Why is there so much bad sci-fi?" And he said, 90% of everything is crud. And I really believe in that. I think that the majority of what is created, music, movies, comic books, manga, most of it isn't very good. Like what we're talking about is the cream that rises to the top, right? So even though we all like manga and anime, there's a bunch of garbage out there, and we just ignore that. So talking about the idea of like this singular created vision, like something that obviously Japan has embraced, this idea of, because especially like a lot of that anime, the script is mostly what that original manga, like the lines of dialogue. There's not that much added to it, and many times when it is added is a deviation. So like something. Is anybody familiar with Hunter X Hunter?
Yeah.
Okay, so like
Killua is my dude.
Yeah. I started reading the manga again from chapter 1 just recently, and I want to watch because I prefer older anime. I love the look of older. I like digital anime is getting better in some cases where it doesn't look so digital to me anymore. But there's two anime adaptations. There's the original 90s Hunter x Hunter, and then there's the 2011. And so I'm naturally driven towards the 90s version. And it's to me it's unwatchable because they immediately start adding material that destroys the story or something like that.
Like the ants.
So I didn't get up to. I'm like I literally barely make it up a couple. Like I can't make past episode 1 basically.
It was tough for me because I love the series the first half, and then it deviated so far. It speaks to what you were talking about. One of the curses, because it's a gift and a curse, or it's a catch-22. When you are someone, like you said, most manga is written by one person with a singular vision.
Yeah.
And I remember as a kid, I was reading Larry Hama's arc on Wolverine. And the thing was, Larry Hama introduced some very great elements to Wolverine, definitive elements.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is he would start these stories with he'd have these awesome ideas, but never play it out to the end. So then he didn't stick the landing because he's like, oh, this is hot, right? And people love it. So now I'm winging it.
Yeah.
And then by the time I didn't have a clear end in sight, and you can see that sometimes, Dan just suffered through that with the ending of Chainsaw Man. Where
hold on, sorry, spoiler. I'm not up there, so as long
I'm
as
not going to spoil it.
Okay,
I'm not going to spoil it because I don't read it. But
okay.
Like when you have a clear vision, or you have a vision of a thing, and you see it in like Hunter x Hunter, right? Is a perfect example where it starts off one way, and like for the first half, like 3 seasons, it's just this. You know what you're getting, and then they graduate, and it's really brilliant. And the next thing you know, they're fighting ants. And it's like, where did this come from? Like, what happened? And was this the actual vision? Did you deviate somewhere? Because this is not the same show as what it was the first half.
And this gets tricky and interesting. And then that's part of the reason, why I'm talking about this. So this is leaving behind that singular creative vision to some degree. There is a different point that I wanted to make there. But because, like, I've only read a lot. I haven't finished Hunter x Hunter. I guess I don't even think he has finished the story. So he's still going. But
yeah.
I've read up to the ant arc, and I love the ant arc.
Many people love the ant arc, but it's a different. It's decidedly different.
Okay.
Than what came before. You know what I mean? Like decidedly different.
Yes.
It's
I see what you're saying.
You know what I mean?
Because I would still think, and it's been a couple of years since I've read the ant arc, but like I still largely remember it being basically battle. You know what I mean? It just happens to be with a different. So how would you define the difference? But before I let you answer that question, I also want to say that like what I know about. So did you watch the 90s or are you watching the 2011? I don't know if they made it up to the end.
I watched the 90s.
Okay, so once again, and it's possible that they adapt more accurately when they get up to the ant arc. Maybe it's like a one very very close to the manga. But it's also possible that what you're watching and what I've read. So let me give you guys a fast example of what to me is a problem with that 90s adaptation. When Killua and Leorio are first introduced, they're introduced at the same time in chapter 2. They're both, Dan, are you Hunter x Hunter dude? Is this like I just saw you like.
No.
looking like this.
No. I'm sorry. I was looking something up. No. I'm familiar with Hunter.
I did. It just looked momentarily like you were super pained by it, so I just want to make sure.
No, that's me, Ben.
Ben, I do this. Ben, I do this. I go like this. Ben, you'll
No.
see me go like this. I go.
He's like, oh man, we're doing an anime show. That means they're actually going to
No.
talk.
Fuck no.
Anime?
I just
They're
wanna
gonna
make sure.
keep it
If I was
surface
losing
level.
Dan,
No.
I figured it would just
Oh,
be so
Ben,
much
I'm
worse.
sorry for the poor body language. I'm sorry.
Oh, I like how Ben's like, fuck Caesar, but if I lose Dan,
Yeah, that's right. I love Ben. That's my man. So yeah, I'm sorry, Ben. Ben,
Caesar
Oh,
said
no.
you lost me at hello. You
Ben, I
lost
was
me at
looking
hello.
something up. I'm sorry.
Okay. So, in the manga, these two characters. So I guess now I'm going to tell you, Caesar, because this should
Oh.
you presumably are unaware of this. So
I
one
woke up.
is a 19-year-old dude, and the other one is maybe around 15 or something. I don't remember exactly what his age is, right? But these two characters, the moment that they're introduced, they just do not share the same vision. Right, so they're butting heads immediately, and they're like, "Let's go out," because they're inside the boat, and it's like this crazy storm is happening, and they're like, "Let's get up on deck, and we're gonna duke this out, and we're gonna find out who's right, with our fists." And they get up there, and before they can fight this, because of the waves, the sailor goes flying off. We don't know who the sailor is. He's just some guy, right? He's falling to his presumed death. He's gonna drown. These two characters who don't like each other, at the exact same moment, they both dive for this guy, and they both try to save him. Now, that was amazing to me, because I was like, I love both of these guys right away. They're very different, but they both are pure. You know what I mean? Like,
They butt
and
heads,
so-
but they have the same values.
Exactly. So I was in love
I
with
don't
them
know about the
immediately.
same. I mean, I guess the same principles, right? Just
Exactly.
One comes from a family of murderers, and the other one, you know what I mean? The other
Well,
one is,
Let me be. I'm sorry. I said Killua. I was very sorry about that. That was my mistake. I'm talking about Kirapika.
Oh, Kirapika.
Yeah. So my apologies. I meant
Elvis guy,
Kirapika
right?
and Leo Rio. These two characters. In the anime adaptation, no, see, this is what's important. We the reader and these two characters don't know who this person is. It's just a person in trouble, and they will risk their own lives at the same second to try and save this person, right? That's important. In the anime, they waste some of our time showing us this sailor and all about his life and how great of a guy is. He's so sweet, and we all love him. And when he gets put into danger, now they save him. That destroys the point. The point isn't that he was this beloved sailor that we must save, and maybe we won't save the guy who wasn't as nice or something like that. They didn't know who he was. And so that's the kind of spirit that's being adapted, at least the early part of the 90s. And by the time they get to the end, maybe, like I said, maybe it's accurate. But they might be injecting these elements into the story that might be undermining some of the characters. So like what you're experiencing, what I experienced, I don't know yet. I'm just throwing it out there. But what I would love to add,
and do you like that, Ben?
I love the manga. I do not like that kind of ham-fisted attempts to force, because it not only does it attempting to force me to care in the wrong way, in like this really superficial way, but like I said, it's also robbing the characters of their moment. Because of course you're going to save the sweetheart, right? But I don't know who that sailor is in the manga. He's just a guy in trouble, and they do what's right.
Why did they change that up for the anime?
Presumably, this is something that weaker storytellers, one of two possibilities here. I can only speculate. One, they need to feel to justify their presence as an adapt. Like it's my job to adapt this. I can either I've got the whole script just right here. I can either just, and many anime does that. They just write the dialogue 1-to-1, right, and the scenes 1-to-1. I'll give you another fast example of a good version of what I think of as fleshing out the raw material. And it's also by Togashi. So Togashi is the creator of Hunter x Hunter. He's also the creator of Yu Yu Hakusho. You guys Yu Yu Hakusho guys at all? Okay, cool.
Not
so,
Yu Yu Hakusho guy. I know it though.
Oh, okay. So one of the characters is Kuwabara. Kuwabara is this side character. He's a rival to the main character. And all we've been shown throughout the first couple stories is that he's like a punk, right? And I'm strictly talking about the anime at this point, because there is some difference in the manga. But in the manga, which Togashi only has 1 week to do these chapters. That's how Shonen Jump is released. Did you know that? It's a weekly thing. So in America,
it's called Weekly Shonen Jump.
Yeah. in America, you have a whole month to create a comic book, but in Japan, you have 1 week. So these guys are just killing themselves.
And is that why there's 200 and something episodes and 200 in this and 200 of that?
Well,
do they
you
do,
could argue the same
recaps?
idea, though.
Do they do recaps in the manga too?
No. But there's literally no time for that, unless it's absolutely necessary to, maybe there's a story point. But no, recaps are an anime.
Recaps in the beginning, you'll more likely see in the panel a flashback from an earlier scene, but you won't see like in the beginning of a manga, like in an anime previous episode, you won't see that. They'll go on with the story and then they might flash back
if it's crucial, right?
Yeah,
like
where
an
anime, the whole episode.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's super frustrating. And a practice that I hope will drop out more and more is streaming. Like I think we see that in some of the more modern series.
So just to get you back to your point though, because I was really interested where you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
So with Yu Yu Hakusho, Togashi has 1 week in order to craft the storyline where Kuwabara, who is this punk delinquent, all he does is fight. He can't fight, otherwise he and his buddies will get booted out of school. All right, and so he's like allowing other guys to beat him up, but not fighting. And like there's this emotional element ultimately about him making the sacrifice for his friends. Now in the manga, Togashi has the pieces, the crucial big pieces, but not the full idea. So like you can feel the emotions he wants you to experience out of it. But the anime, the episode of that is the anime, the person who adapted that actually wrote a couple extra little lines of dialogue or a little bit more of the scene that goes on for just a little bit longer in order to maximize the emotional element of that. And so it's not always a bad thing when somebody adapts it and adds it. But the point is, are they actually elevating or are they distracting and taking away? And so those are the same the same guy creating stuff, 2 different adaptations. So one speculation was, 1, they need to justify their job, and so they're adding in all this other junk. Or 2, they think that the audience is kind of a dummy, and that like the only way they'll get this is if we really hammer it over the head. This guy's so
really
nice.
Elaborate.
Yeah. That makes sense. Now let me ask you. So it's obviously just like in the American comic books translation to movies or cartoons. I'm assuming that manga also has that those issues where if you're a hardcore manga reader and you watch the animation, you go, he's not like that in the book, or that doesn't happen like that in the book.
But not as often as you do in comics because a lot of them are direct, like he was saying, line to line translation.
Okay.
And this is part of what I was getting back to, that idea of a singular creative vision. Sorry.
Well, also to add, like, a lot of the manga readers, might find their way to the manga from an anime, right? And so they're very dedicated, loyal fan base. And if you begin to modify material, it can cause a negative backlash in a real way. So they usually don't change characters that much. I'm getting the impression though, Ben, like to me, I don't know about the general genre, but I feel like you like quest animes. Like it seems like you like quest, like because you're the one I think you're talking about is the dude that dies, right? And he ends up coming back as like a ghost detective, right? Is that what that whole thing is about? Like,
oh yeah, he
like dies saving, and the same thing with Hunter x Hunter. Like it's a quest. Like he leaves and wants to go follow like his dad, do that kind of stuff. I mean,
Hunter x Hunter.
I think that we can start getting into nuance here in a way that, like, yes, they do have these big. Well, okay, so like let's just stick with Yu Yu Hakusho for a second, right? Like I think that Togashi has made statements about how he initially wanted it to start as a detective manga, and that's one of the subgenres, I guess, of Shonen Jumps. These are just so you know. That would become a battle manga. All right. Now, I'm inclined to think that that's him kind of fudging the facts afterwards. I think he was like, I want to make a detective manga. Oh, I don't know exactly how this is working out. I'll just make it a battle manga. Yeah. But the point is, like, any main story is they're gonna have for a story to have meaning and for a character to have meaning, they have to have a want, right? And so Gon's want in Hunter x Hunter is to find his dad. That's his major want. In Naruto's major want is to become Hokage, right? And so this is a shonen element where Luffy wants to be the king of the pirates. Like that's just part
Luffy
of
is One Piece. Monkey D. Luffy.
I'm sorry, did I not say one? I might have said something else.
No, you didn't. I was just telling Caesar.
Oh, okay, cool. So
thank you.
a character have this identifiable want right off the bat does basically lead into a possibility of a quest, because Gon goes all over the place, right? Luffy goes all over the place trying to do this thing. But
really
overall,
quick, Ben, I just want to say, just so you know, Caesar, when you thank me sarcastically, One Piece is probably the most successful anime translated to a live action, period. Like season 2 is on Netflix.
You know what? I've seen a couple
popular.
clips. I got to be honest. I've seen a couple clips of, because of course it's what they do on Instagram, right? And I see some of the clips of the battle scenes. I'm like, yeah, it's pretty cool. If I was a kid, I would be all over this stuff,
It
and
got
I
a
would
season 2
probably
on
watch it now.
Netflix, and they canceled Sandman. They canceled Wednesday Addams. They canceled these popular American pop culture type things, and
They cancel Wednesday.
yeah, they canceled Wednesday. Yes, they canceled Wednesday.
No,
They
when?
did. So they canceled Wednesday, and then they brought it back, just like they canceled Sandman season 1, and then they brought it back, and then they canceled Sandman again. But remember,
Definitely.
Wednesday got canceled, and then they brought it back because obviously there was enough fan demand, but they canceled it after the first season.
So,
Ben, go on to what you're saying. You're saying about the
yeah,
quest,
go ahead,
Ben.
Ben.
Oh, just that when we're getting into these ideas, there are quest elements, but we have to look at the overall genre that it is trying to be or confined to be, right? So yes, I do appreciate quest stuff, but like I am gonna move around on terms of I love both comic books and manga or anime from their conception to now, right? So it's like Astro Boy is super cartoony, super fun adventure with some battle elements, right? So like I'm gonna jump all over the place, and I'm just gonna love what is the best of everything that I can find, if that makes sense. So you're not wrong.
What's your top 3?
My top three.
Top 3. Let's say I guess we'll say anime.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask that of all you guys.
If
So
you
start
say
thinking.
if you say the big 3, I gotta put you out. I gotta unfriend you. I'm gonna friend you so I can unfriend you. If you be like Dragon Ball and Bleach and One Piece, I'm like, nah, bro.
No, I mean, if
I do love Dragon Ball.
then we're gonna only let you watch these 3 animes. What would they be from your repertoire of what you've kind of experienced?
Okay.
On an island kind of situation, right? You can only take 3 animes with you to watch for the rest of your life. What are the 3?
So I mean, ultimately the big ones are the big ones because of their potency or whatever, right? So like for me, the 90s adaptation of Berserk, that anime series, is one of my favorites.
Yeah, Berserk is tough.
Yeah, and then one of my all-time favorites is the first 2 OVAs of the Devilman anime. Like there's 87 and 90, I think, and like those are possibly the greatest of them all for me, or something like that. And then I'd have to start getting into like probably if I'm gonna be trapped, never getting to watch anything else, I'm gonna pick something being lighthearted and with a lot of episodes, like Case Closed or something like that, or Detective.
I remember watching that.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go with you, Sam. Since
I honestly don't know.
we'll get back to you. We'll get back to you because I know Dan is itching, ready to go. Dan, top 3.
No, go to Ish. I want to hear Ish first.
So I guess the one, since I'm going to be on an island, the one that has impacted me the most, like I watched the last episode or played music from the last episode regularly, is Carol and Tuesday. And then I generally love Scried. I think it's just a perfect 24 episode beginning. One story begins, story ends, 24 episode. I can go back and watch it over and over. It fills my superhero need in an anime because they got powers and they fight, and it's a shonen, and so Scried. And then it's probably a toss up between Gurren Lagann and Grand Blue Fantasy.
All right. My top 3 is the whatever Dan's going to say. Go ahead, Dan.
But hold on really quick. Honorable mention I have to give to Shiba Yugi. It's only 12 episodes in, but it's just so good. 10 episodes. Shiba Yugi playing games of death to put food on the table. I think it's just really it's really impacting me in a really strong way in free rent.
I got to tell you guys, from a non-anime or recent anime, hearing you guys speak and saying these words,
And
it
most
is
of the Fate
so
series, most of them, not all,
alien. It's
most of
so
the Fate series.
Yeah, but I
alien
think
to me. It's
if these were
crazy.
talking comic books, it'd be the same thing. If I was like, oh man, Sleepwalker or The Darkness or something like that, like it'd just be
Sleepwalker.
I've never
I
read
love
the
that.
Yeah.
Jackie Estacado.
Dan,
This is tough. I would say probably my favorite all time anime is Trigun, the original Trigun. Like I do love Trigun, and it's a really fun and entertaining, and there's elements of fighting, there's elements of humor. I like it, and drama. There's some drama in it too. So I would say probably Trigun. I would definitely say Free Run. Free Run means a lot to me. I mean, I really appreciate that story. I appreciate a lot of the things it represents, from the characters to the undertones of like loss, the undertones of hope, right? The humor in it too. Ben talked about how they characterize sometimes the drawings will be like, what you expect. Sometimes they're much more chibi or cartoony, depending on how they're trying to explain the tone, the mood. I do love that. It's entertaining. So I would say Trigun, Free Ren. And I feel like, there's a lot of other ones I really like. Like, this is tough for me because I feel like somewhere in there, I've got to include like a Studio Ghibli movie, like Howl's Moving Castle or something like that. Like, I mean, those are just, to me, such girl like Spirited Away. I mean, those are just great, great stories, but it's only one show, one movie. And I think honorable mention, I love, one of my favorite all time is something called My Dress Up Darling. I love it. It's the most corny premise. It's about a girl that likes to cosplay, but she doesn't know how to create the costumes. And a kid in her school is handy with that kind of thing. And they end up meeting, and they just get to friends, and then they end up having a relationship, and it goes on and on. And I just think it's a really
It's on
sweet
Netflix
story.
right now.
Yeah. I mean, it's just so wonderful. And the manga, it goes much further than that. But I don't know. I think it'd be either a Studio Ghibli movie for my third, or maybe My Dress Up Darling.
It's interesting. Before I go to Sam, hearing that last description, Dan, as someone looking in, will be like, "That's so fucking weird."
Dan really likes slice of life.
No, he really
Let me
does.
tell
He
you
likes
something.
the whole friendship and relationship and high, and it's
Before
great.
we go back to Sam, let me just point out something that Ben mentioned earlier, which is really kind of interesting, and it's sort of sad in a way, because my own wife, my kids, they'll be like, "Oh, are you watching hentai?" It's like, you guys don't get these beautiful stories, right? You don't get these beautiful stories. And by the way, there's nothing graphical. There's nothing graphical like that on this cartoon I'm talking about. But Ben mentioned earlier, he's like, "Where do you buy your manga at?" Well, I'll buy some of those stories from like Crunchyroll and I'll have them delivered to the house, because I'll be in BAM, and like you said, you'll see teenagers that are reading manga. I'm not going to be a 48-year-old dude pulling out My Dress Up Darling and reading it in freaking BAM. They're going to be like, "Who the hell? Like, where's Chris?"
That's
Hansen
what I'm
at? You know what I
talking.
mean?
That's what I'm
You
talking
should.
about.
You should embrace it.
Well,
Just
that's
get
what
on
I
the
mean.
bus.
Isn't it
Just go for a
sad?
ride on the bus one day with My Dress Up Darling. You know what I mean?
Sitting way in the back of the bus. Sam,
You got
what
to
about
bring
you?
your comic book case, that comic Dan's con case, and the only thing that's in it is the whole volume of My Dress Up Darling.
My Dress Up Darling.
He's got Violet Evergarden. He's got My Dress Up Darling. He's got.
Well,
Like,
I mean,
loves the slice of life.
see, you know what? You're talking about some beautiful stories, Ish. Really, like,
Listen, I really respect Dan. And me and Dan talk on the phone, and he's like, "Yo, Ish, I need you to go watch this." And then he starts describing it to me, and I'm thinking to myself, "Why would I watch that?"
Why would I
have a
watch
funny
that?
story. Caesar, we got to go back. We'll go to
She
Sam.
works
come
in
back
a
'cause I got
flower
funny
shop,
story.
and she's been trying to put together the best bouquet. And
No, listen,
That's what I'm talking about.
I got to.
That sounds so bad.
So like my top three, or the three that I would take, basically like the desert island kind of situation, is very different from what I've been watching lately. But my top three are like super popular because I've watched them the most. So Dragon Ball Z is definitely one. I've watched it probably the most times out of any anime in my life, and 274 episodes, and I've watched it, God, probably like 15 times through. It's crazy in my lifetime. Tokyo Ghoul, absolutely love it.
Good one.
And then Death Note, which I've probably seen
Oh,
the most in comparison to Dragon Ball Z. And then my honorable mention would be Gundam Wing. Gundam Wing
Oh,
got
yeah.
me
Good call.
onto like the genre. Besides Dragon Ball Z, Gundam got me, and then
There's a
made me
lot
go,
of
okay.
Gundams. There's a lot of Gundams too.
Yeah,
What-
you
I
could be. You
can't.
could be a
So I'll tell you, I have a hard time getting into any other Gundam series.
Really?
Yes, like a very hard time. Like I try. I'll sit there and I'll watch
the
and I'll watch
Evangelion
10
episodes.
episodes. Yes, I really like that.
There's a lot of that too.
There
A
is a
lot.
lot of that. Yes.
You know, even though, hold on. Well, let me give you my three.
Oh, that's we go.
Let me give you my three. My three will be Gotcha Man.
Menudo.
My three. No, I don't fucking Gotcha Man.
Gotcha.
No,
Man.
Minu-
I love.
No, but my three would probably be going back to my youth. Probably be Robotech.
That's great.
Fist of the North Star, the very
Mm.
first Fist of the North Star. Just if at the time it was like
It's so
crazy.
terrible. But at
You know,
the
there's a
time,
comic,
it's great.
Caesar,
Yeah, I saw that
like
actually.
an actual comic book.
Yeah, I
format?
saw that. And the last one is Blue Eye Samurai. So Blue Eye Samurai really, it
Great.
really did something for me. It truly did that. Dan, and the honorable mention is probably Voltron. Go ahead, Dan. What are you going to say?
Nothing to be ashamed out with Blue Eye Samurai. My neighbor, older gentleman in his 70s, never watched any of this stuff. Didn't grow up reading comic books. I told him about Blue Eye Samurai because he has Netflix. Loves it. Every time I see him, he talks about it. So
Yeah.
you never know. I laugh because we talk about like the depth and the range of all these stories, and sometimes they're just awful. And as Ben said, like a lot of them aren't that really that good. We were talking about some of the high ones. There's a show called The Demon King's Daughter is Too Kind.
You put me
That's
at the
what
bottom.
the show is.
I need to go to the bottom.
Listen, no,
right
keep
now.
him here. Keep him here. Caesar,
Right
listen.
now.
Only reason I watched it, literally, the Demon King's Daughter is Too Kind, and the whole story is about they want to make the Demon King's daughter, who's a little girl, her name is Dew,
Yeah.
and they want to make her bad, but she can't be bad. She's too sweet. She always helps animals. She helps people. She's the Demon
She's a
King's
demon.
daughter, but
She's a demon. She's a demon princess.
she's a demon, but she's too nice.
Okay.
And so
Okay.
I only watch it because her fucking voice is addicting. Like it's like a little baby girl
It's
voice.
terrible. It's terrible.
It's hilarious. And then in the middle of the show, she'll break out in a song, like how she's like helping the animals and she'll singing. So I called Caesar one day.
Like it's crazy because the Demon King's
No.
top general is training her, supposedly trying to train her to be a true demon that's terrible to people, like how demons
Okay,
should
can't
be.
do
Okay.
And
All
every
right.
time she goes anywhere to do anything, this little girl just breaks out in like these ridiculous songs.
So
Just-
I tell Ish one day, this is like 11 o'clock at night. I'm texting Ish. I go, listen, Ish, give me a call. He calls me. I go, Ish, listen, do me a favor. Turn on Crunchyroll and watch The Demon King's Daughter is Too Kind. And I think I even showed him what episode, like where to go. I think he texted me not even 5 minutes later. He goes, I'm tapping out. Like he couldn't do it. Like
I'm done.
it was so friggin' bad. I was howling because it's just that's the kind of stuff you get. But everybody likes their own different shit.
I had a very lengthy conversation on Saturday, Ben, with Gonzo, and he is a Robotech aficionado, and he was telling me that he had his wife watch Robotech with him for the beginning, and he said, just watch it, and I said, she was looking a couple of times ago, like, I don't get it, I don't, it's weird to her. And then to a point where she kind of got into it. But I told Gonzo that Robotech was my introduction to cartoon telenovela, right?
Mm.
It's the very first time I saw as a child a cartoon kissing, death. I mean, straight up people getting murdered, shot, love triangle. It was like this. I would come home from school and like, what's going to happen to Rick and what's going to happen to Minmay? I was getting into this thing, and so you would think like, growing up, that I would adapt to a lot of the anime stuff, and to a point I did in the early '90s, and that's about it. So it seems to me that right now, because there's so many genres and there's so much.
Hey guys,
Back
I gotta
in-
run. I gotta run.
Oh, okay.
Just I gotta
Love
run
you, bro.
an hour early because I
All
got
right.
the door closed at 11. And
go.
Yeah.
Go for it. We'll catch you later.
Yo,
We'll see you
love
next
you
week.
all. Ben, Ben, it's been dope. I'm gonna follow you. It's been dope. It's really been dope. Definitely gonna follow you.
Thank you.
All right, Ish. Thanks, Ish. So it's interesting that I back in the day, the only time you would watch anime for us is to borrow someone's VHS tape, or you go buy it in the anime section of the video store. But now the variety, and you guys are telling me about these certain genres and categories and all this, and it's almost, to me, it's a little overwhelming. It's almost like it's a drowning of so much wealth, of such a pool of things to choose from.
But like, what? So in the 90s, what do you remember digging?
Fist of the North Star, Wicked City. Just the stuff, whatever was hot in the 90s. And it was just so weird and graphic. There's one where the spider was going at the woman's cooch, and I was like, this is just kooky. It's just crazy, right? And you like this and you like that. But now it's like what Dan? I got Crunchy app, and then you got the Crunchyroll. Then you have.
So I totally appreciate that, of course. And I think that this is something, because like but I think it's gonna be like that for anything, I think, right? So the best approach would be that, just like that, I ask you what you like that you've seen before, and then I tell you, all right, well, check out this one more thing and this one more thing, and then you go, right? Because like it's similar to American comic books in the sense that like when I was a kid, I live in a small Wyoming town, but I was born originally in this small Texas town, and so both of them had the same problem of not really having access to comic books that often, and so I just got whatever I got, right? And they've been going for nearly 100 years. So like you just jump in and you start to, if you're interested, you're going to put the work in to be like, okay, I think I'm getting this a little bit. But that I say this because like I was willing to put the work in to try and learn about comic books, but my brother he's interested, but it's exactly what you're saying. He's like, this is overwhelming. He's like, how the heck do I even get into?
Where do you start?
Exactly.
Where do you start?
But so I think it's that personal touch of somebody just, start here, see if you dig this or not.
So I'm gonna give you guys a test and see if you entice me. So someone outside looking in, who can give me the a very quick cliff notes of what Attack on Titans? What is that about? What is that about?
I'm gonna go ahead, man. I'm not going to stop you. What I am going to say is that, like, what I like for all stories is to go in zero. To know, like, somebody tells you, "Hey, I like this. I think you might like it," and that's where you start. But I know that's not the question, so I'm just telling you, I won't give you anything because I
like how you were still trying to think of how to get me right. It's not working, Ben. I'm still not going to fucking watch it.
So Caesar,
go ahead, Dan. Yes.
In one sentence, Attack on Titan is a dark fantasy about humanity surviving behind walls against man-eating titans. That's what it's about.
Good job, Dan, because I could not. There's so much that I could not get that sentence into my head.
Is it done?
The beauty of it, Caesar.
It's done.
The beauty of it, Caesar, is the emotion and the politics, and when you start to elaborate as you watch it and it unfolds, you begin to learn things about the source of the Titans and about the characters, and it really it changed the game because it brought manga and anime interest into groups that were unfamiliar before. It just kind of expanded. It was significant because it expanded the reach of that genre of storytelling, really, just because of the way it delivered that story. It was groundbreaking.
Now, since you're not going to watch it, and I'm not going to spoil anything either, but I'm gonna add a little bit here. That and it's a bummer that we lost this year because I think that he would have maybe, or I'd be curious to see if he would resonate with something like this, because he said Gurren Lagann, I believe, was one of his favorites. That to me, watching Gurren Lagann ultimately was a story about the incredible power of the human species. And part of what I love about Attack on Titan is the emotion of exploring the power of human survival, and like the places it'll go with its drama and its intensity, but it's ultimately about that mankind will rise up, and like that's I'm getting chills just remembering some stuff.
Yeah.
How long was that the series, the season? How many seasons do they have?
4
of that?
seasons
4.
at like 20 something episodes a piece, I believe.
Okay, all right. Next one. Who can explain to me what free rent is about?
I'll let Sam take that one.
Oh man,
I mean, I'm happy to take it, but I don't want to be like the only voice here. So
I can't one sentence.
You-
I'm not
you want
good
me to
at
try it.
synopses.
Okay, so
you know what,
free
Caesar?
rent-
You know why you would like it? Think of like if someone created a story of everyone dying, or like
No, don't say it like that. Don't say it like
no,
that.
I know, no. Think of it. Think of it
Say it
like
like this, Sam.
if you
say
were
it
going
like
to
this.
continue the story of the elves after Lord of the Rings and what their experience traversing through Middle Earth and seeing the impact of them saving the
There you go.
world is,
There you
go.
and then meeting people who might have interacted with Aragorn or like the humans who might be elderly now or gone, and watching Legolas experience that. That's how I would explain what Freerin could be like for you.
Okay, all right.
The actual title is called Free Run Beyond Journey's End, because it basically begins. It picks up at the end of the hero's party defeating the Demon King, and what do they do? What happens after it? So it's beyond Journey's End. So it's really well. Sam. That's the way. Don't start off by saying everybody dies. Don't do that.
No, I know. Because I tell people to watch Freerin all the time, especially a lot of folks that I know who have wanted me to get deeper into anime, because I didn't watch for probably a good 10 years, and then got right back into it maybe 2 years ago.
All right.
And people are like, oh, you got to watch this show, that show, this show, and they haven't watched Freerin. So that's kind of how I explain it to them. And they're like, I have to watch that.
Is there an anime of Soul Leveling?
Oh my god, it's
yeah.
That's
okay.
Probably one of my current favorites.
Now, what is that about?
Real quick, how did you even know Solo Leveling existed not as an anime?
Well, let me tell you, this is the funny thing, Ben. You're going to learn about me.
Okay.
I learn a lot from these fucking geeks that I have on my show every Tuesday who constantly don't shut the fuck up about anime. So I, in turn, even though they don't think I'm listening on this stuff and I'm picking the shit up, so when I go to parties and anime becomes a topic, then I can say, hey, you guys watch Free Rent? Let me tell you, it's about these guys. It's like Legolas and the, that's what I'll do. And exactly in that voice. Okay, Soul Leveling. What's it about? Who wants to take that? Ben, I want you to take that. Tell me in your own words.
Okay, so obviously I'm going to be very bad at this since it's not what I do, but it is the dramatization of the weakest warrior becoming perhaps the strongest.
Okay.
Ben, I fucking love you, man. I love you, dude. That's the best way to put it, because it leaves so much there. And I'm going to tell you what, if you like Blue Eye Samurai, Caesar, you would like Solo Leveling. That's right in where you would like it.
Is it Solo Leveling or is it Soul Leveling?
Solo, like single. Solo
like single leveling.
Yeah.
What is that one anime, and this is for all three of you guys, what's that one anime that everyone is absolutely gaga over and you watch it and go, I just don't get the hype?
I just started One Piece and I am 10 episodes in and I'm not getting it yet, but I'm giving it my all. right now to keep going because
You know,
it's
that's a
1,000
big one, Sam.
episodes.
That's a
and
big
I'm-
1,000 episodes.
It's over 1,000 episodes, and
Holy.
I will keep trucking along. The other one, I'm not a huge Naruto fan. It's all right. I have watched a lot of that though, but I'm not through the whole thing. So I hear it builds. So
That's a
it's been
big one,
years since
Sam.
I've watched that one, like years.
Because
years.
I even hear about One Piece. So for you to go, I'm not getting it. So that's kind of interesting. About Dan and Ben, what about you two?
I'm probably gonna say Kaiju number 8. People love Kaiju number 8.
I love it.
And it has its moments, but I just couldn't. I mean, except for a couple of moments, I just couldn't do it. I mean, I watched it and I read some of the manga too, and they even have like they have like sidebar stories with Kaiju number 8 that I read as well, and it just didn't get me. I couldn't really grasp it.
All right. Do you have another one by chance? Since Sam did too.
No, I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of stuff I watch, and I don't really, I think I do what Sam does. Like I don't always like hang on to it. Like if I give it 3 episodes or three chapters, if it's not sticking with me, I move on. I do that with everything. Like comic books, I'll give it 3 issues. If it doesn't hang on, I let it go. You know what I mean? So I'll usually give it like 3 episodes, and if it's not good, I'll probably just let it go. I would say. I think honestly the sad thing is if I say Dragon Ball, people are probably going to send me emails and say they hate me. But I've tried to watch Dragon Ball and I just couldn't do it. But I think maybe if I would have watched it when I was younger, I probably would truly appreciate it, and I do appreciate it for what it is. I think as I'm older, I want more mature stories. I want more depth, and I don't know that I'm going to get that there.
Okay, all right. And Ben.
I attribute this to just being that things are cyclical, and like I don't dig it because I've already kind of seen it or whatever. So like Demon Slayer, it's like Demon Slayer, I've already seen everything it has to offer in previous, and I assume what I dig from that, somebody else, you just keep going back along the line. They're like, oh yeah, that's just a redone of this or whatever. And so Demon Slayer's immediately on top of it, and then Jujutsu Kaisen is also the current big, and so it's the same thing again.
That's another one that I have tried to start. Probably, I think I've watched episode 1 now 4 times, and I'm like, okay, am I into it? Can I keep going?
Well, not if you're watching it 4 times already. I mean, there's got to be that threshold, like Dan says. If I read something by episode 3 and it doesn't, I mean, by the 3rd book, it doesn't get me, I'm out. Right? I'm not going to waste your time. But then you hear those people who say, no, trust me, it gets good at number 6.
Well, I mean, there are shows like that though for me. Not in anime, but Severance, from a TV show standpoint, was one of those things where I had to watch probably 4 episodes before I was hooked.
Well, see, it's like that with comic books, but what I was going to say is Dan's like, okay, so you're saying it gets good at book 6, but I still got to read number 4 and 5, and I don't want to read number 4 and 5 to get to 6, right? So there's that. It's almost like doing homework. All right, someone explain to me Chainsaw Man.
So, Chainsaw Man is a down and out young man who lives in a world where you kill demons for money, and he gets double crossed and ends up becoming a demon.
Explain to me Death Note, Sam.
Not my thing.
Death Note is.
Oh, I got it. If I can do it.
Yeah, do it.
All right.
That's so excited.
Oh, because Death Note is one of my all-time favorite. I think Light Yagami might be my favorite character. He's the main character of
So
all.
good.
It might be something like one of the most intelligent being humans is given the power of death, something to that effect.
Yes.
So I'm a big fan.
I think you would really like it, Caesar. That's actually a good gateway anime in my mind for a lot of people. I know a lot of people where one of their first animes was Death Note.
I would have to watch. I would have to watch these when my wife leaves town. I don't know when, because if she catches me watching this shit, she's gonna be like, Serenity now, because
I don't know. She might like this one.
No, get the fuck out. You don't know my Cuban wife.
You know what, Caesar? You know what's funny? You know what's really funny about it? Some of these stories, if they were like live action Hollywood produced movies, you'd love them. But because they're animated, you're like immediately like, no. And my wife's that way. Like, I not even interested.
But if I'm watching Invincible, which is pretty lighthearted, what I say lighthearted, but you know what I'm saying. It's a cartoon. You watch your little baby shows again? It's like, fuck, man. It's like,
but some of these stories are very involved and intricate, and they're well done. I mean, I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm partial to it, but I watch some of the shows that, the live action movies, and I'm just like, why would you waste time watching that shit? I mean, to me, it's ridiculous. And by the way, when you watch live action movies, and this is probably a jaded old man talking, you have to watch them and then understand that those dudes are way overpaid, and they come with all this drama and shit in the news that I gotta kind of have to cut in with the movie I'm watching. Whereas cartoons, it's just fiction. It's not real. It's, you know what I mean? I can just escape. And there's no reality there.
I get it. What were you gonna say, Ben?
Oh, so in the working as a professional and getting to talk to some other professionals, there was a dude who hit Death Note on the nail on the head that I really liked. And so often we see in like comic books the description of characters where they're like, he's a brilliant mastermind, and like the heroes have to overcome it, or Lex Luthor being one of the primary examples of this quite often. But the brilliance of that mastermind is limited by the creator's own intelligence or brilliance, right? And so most of the time, all they can do is tell you, oh, Lex Luthor has a master plan. It's incredible. It was so genius. I barely figured it out. And you don't actually get to know what the plan is because that person can't think of it. But the creator of Death Note is a genius. And so when I say that the main character is this, like, one of the most intelligent people, that's because the creator. And so the thing that person is writing, and the adventure you go on, and the things that this person can do, is because the person writing behind it is like, just going nuts. So if you ever wanted to read someone who's actually a genius writing comic books, in this case manga, Death Note.
Well,
Ben, it's called Death Note because it's a book, right? You write the name in the book, and you can. Is that what it is? Like, you can kill somebody?
No, that's too much for me. I'm not sure. I can't say if I can confirm or deny. But
okay.
Sam, you're more than welcome.
I thought you said you liked it.
I love it, but I will not get. I want you to go in 0 as much as possible.
Gotcha. So don't say anything, Sam. I get it. I'm gonna have to borrow somebody's Crunchyroll to listen. I'm not gonna fucking do it. I'm just doing it just to make you guys happy. So Mark's saying for me to read a comic book.
You should go in.
I saw that.
100%.
Yeah, I saw that.
But you can get a trial of Crunchyroll, and then you're fine. No. Yeah.
I already have enough shit that I'm paying for that I forget. What if you
a subscription and then?
Wow! Listen to that, people. These guys are so hard up for me to get into anime. They're willing to buy me a subscription.
Well, because let's be serious. You're not going to read a damn book, so you might as well watch something that we we can talk
That is,
about.
that is true. And what Mark says, read a comic book. Yeah, see, you guys are onto something. So might as well watch the animation of it. Has there been and this is more, well, you guys for the most part do this. Has there ever been a disappointment if once you read a manga, and you saw the animation, you just didn't like it? You
Chainsaw
just
Man.
rather just Whoa.
Even though Chainsaw Man is technically quite often incredible in its animation, I really do not like to watch, and I stop pretty quickly. And for multiple, and I'm not alone in that. Some other people have issues with it as well. But like the main character Denji, the way that I hear him in my mind, his personality is not the guy that I see on screen in that, you know. And so that's a perfect why I get pushed away.
I haven't read that at all, actually.
Yeah, it's don't start.
What about you, Dan?
Oh no!
Yeah, I agree with Ben. I agree with a most recent example because it literally just wrapped up. And I mean, I'm not spoiling anything because it was all over the news that people were disgusted that he just abruptly ended the story. But yeah, Chainsaw Man. I mean, you know, again, but I think I was more disappointed not because of the anime, because I thought parts of the anime were a little cute and interesting. And I think also sometimes, you know, I do like the anime because it gives voices to what I think it sounds like, but then I can actually give it an actual voice that the creator gives it. So I kind of do like that. But the way that it overall the way the story kind of wound up, you know, I don't know that I was truly satisfied, but maybe other people were. Who knows?
It's interesting. It's just like any other book, whether it be comic or just a graphic novel, or just any novel. When they translate it to a live action, and as you're reading these books, so I hear what as you're reading these books, you're creating these characters in your mind, right? You're playing their voices, your own interpretation of like Ben, like you said, what they sound like, you know, the intonation in their voice and all that stuff. And then you kind of romanticize this character that you're reading, and then they put it on screen and you're like, nope, that's not my X. That's not my Y. And I'm assuming it probably happens less where you watch an adaptation, you go, they played that person perfectly. I the way I imagined him in the book.
It's not always it's not always lost in translation between the book and the anime too. Sometimes like they'll remake the anime. So like I brought up Trigun in the beginning. I think the original was the best. Like Millie and Vash and Nicholas D. Wolfwood and all the characters there. And, you know, it was just, you know, the gung ho guns. It was just, I'm telling you, it was entertaining. But then they came out with, they redid it a couple times now. And each time it's just not as good. Now I think Trigun Stargaze is out. They're just not good. So it's not always just a translation from the manga to the anime. Sometimes it's a translation from anime to later rendition of the anime. It's not that good.
Isn't it funny how we live in a world of geekdom, whereas they'll be watching the show and hear Ben go. I mean, Ben wasted no minutes when he said Chainsaw Man. Right. and there's someone who could watch this and go, that fucking guy's crazy. It's awesome. Right. It is one of the best animations right now. It's one of the best animes out right now. And we live in a world where so many people have so many opinions and so different opinions. And I guess that's what makes it great.
I really enjoyed Chainsaw Man, so I haven't read it. I didn't love it though, but I loved the movie. That arc was
the Res arc,
absolutely amazing.
Oh, wait a minute! So there's an animation and there's a movie.
Yeah,
I mean, there's a series and then a movie. Oh,
so they basically take the whole like volume of this, like the story that they could have. Yeah, they could have played it across episodes in the anime, but they put it into a movie, and it was absolutely phenomenal. The show before that was okay, and I enjoyed it, but the movie blew me away.
Did you like the movie, Ben?
I didn't get that far, like, because ultimately, although I'm interested, I mean, I would watch it for its visuals and stuff like that. It's exactly, it's just like I can't hear the character that I want to hear, as you were saying.
Toonami. Yeah, Toonami's my jam. What about One Punch Man? I mean, I keep hearing about One Punch Man. Did you guys like that and then the anime? What came first? The animation?
Manga comes first. So
the manga came first.
I love One Punch Man. I also love Mob Psycho 100. Have you guys watched that at all?
That is on my list to watch, actually. Okay. Like, I'm looking forward to watching that.
I'll be curious. Hopefully you dig it. The creator is one of my favorite creators, and also just one of my favorite stories. The creator goes by the synonym One, and was just a webcomics creator, but it's a perfect example of what I believe in, where if you are somebody who's going to tell your story, don't let anything stop you. One is not a very good artist, and so when one started drawing One Punch Man, his writing,
crude, right?
Exactly. So his writing and his storytelling skills are super engaging, really high, but he can barely get the visuals across. But it's enough that people, started to be like, "Well, wait a second, this one's got something here." And then little by little it grew. And so what Dan was just holding up there is the remake, where Yusuke Murata, I believe, who is an extremely talented manga artist, approached One saying, "Can I redraw it, but like super good?" And then of course same story, just adapted with a high level artist.
The story is literally about a hero that takes out his enemies with one punch. I mean, and he gets bored and depressed because it's almost too easy. And I mean, but it's even though that's a simple way, it's the devil's in the details with all these stories. So, we're trying to give you a very condensed one sentence explanation, but oftentimes it's like, I mean, maybe a bad analogy is golf. Like the one chip shot brings you back. The one story, you're like, oh my God, this is a great title. And there's a lot of that in One Punch Man.
I will just like, there are moments of, because One Punch Man has a lot of, one is just kind of a funny creator, and so there's a lot of humor in One Punch Man. But there's also, and this is what I was saying that I love so much about the Japanese storytelling, is that they can have something so funny, and the next second it's going to get super serious.
Exactly.
And like, One Punch Man has, and I'm talking about the anime especially, where you have the music and the visuals all working together to really heighten your emotions. But just what Dan was saying, this is a character who, it's asking the question of like, what does ultimate power cost? But we all know that his name is One Punch Man. Like, he finishes things in one punch. And a lot of the story becomes engaging of like, when is he going to get here? And when he does, how much this like villain is going to be in trouble. Like, so for you guys, if you remember the Sea King, when Sea King is battling Genos, like Saitama is on the way. That's One Punch Man. And like, inside I was like, oh my God, you're going to be in so much trouble when Saitama
wait till he gets here.
Yeah.
So it's interesting when they know they're doing something right when Ben was describing Attack on Titans earlier, and you're getting goosebumps.
Yeah.
When you're talking about a cartoon and there's an event about to happen, and you talk to yourself like, "Oh, it's on now, right?" They're doing something right, and basically, what we get out of all this, well, I should say, what I get out of this is, I'm still not going to watch it, but what I probably will do. What I probably will do, and I'll cheat because I don't give a shit about spoilers, is that I'll just go on YouTube and watch clips of, right? Maybe I'll go in there and watch clips of a small clip of Solo, leveling.
Yeah,
maybe
but I would tell you, Caesar, I mean, like, the experience you had with Blue Eye Samurai, right? You really enjoyed that, and a lot of people did. And I feel like, I know it's like overwhelming where do you start, but like, maybe a good place is like Death Note, or a good place is like watch Solo.
Might
yeah,
be really
you'll
good.
love it.
Yeah,
I'm
going to push back. I mean, I don't know. Obviously, the way that you've engaged with comic books, for example, is so. I've never met anybody like you. So it's like it's hard for me to.
Oh man,
It's hard for me to understand. Like, you got
I'm
Juggernaut
surprised.
back there, and it's like it's hard for me to know how you feel about Juggernaut. So that said, it's possible that you jump on and these clips will work exactly in the way that you want them to. But I will say that, like, as somebody who has watched these shows and the intense emotional reactions that so many of these things can have, they're only intense and emotional because you've spent the journey to get there. You know what I mean? Like, I'll watch on
Yeah.
YouTube these occasional videos where
God,
it's like,
man, you're giving me fucking chills, man.
what's that? Oh yeah, okay, great.
Me chills, dude, because that's right. You're summing it up perfectly.
These best anime fights on YouTube, it's like I've seen those shows, but when you watch them out of context and just isolated like that, it's like, I remember this. This was like the most important thing to me in 2003. And yet now I feel almost nothing. So yeah, you can do it, but I don't think you're going to get what we are trying to sell.
Well,
we're at the point too where the animation is so polished and like the action is so intense. You could watch the fights and be like, okay, that it's the same thing. When you go to another show and to another show, it's really how invested in the characters you are.
well, Ben gave me an idea. I'm going to make a shirt for my new show that says, "I've never met anyone like you."
I love it. Awesome.
And that summed it up. I think Ben is a newbie to the show. It's the second time here, and he did the best line I think of the year. So, and that basically sums me up. I got to tell you guys, this was not painful. I think why, and let me tell you why, because I asked questions that I really wanted an answer to, and you guys did a pretty good job of trying to convince this old man to try to watch anime. And I don't know, I still probably won't do it, but unless maybe I will maybe Sam will get me a subscription to something. Maybe I'll want to watch One Punch Man to just kind of watch it, or Death Note, or Solo Leveling, or Free Ren. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Never say never. I never thought I would be starting my own podcast, and there you go, right? So what the fuck do I know? Well, look at that. 2 hours. Just like that. And once again, I tell people all the time, come on this show, and you're like, 2 hours, but how do you talk for 2 hours? Very easy. And all it takes is a couple of subjects, a couple of topics, and you'll free run, no pun intended, for 2 hours. For 2 hours. No joke, man. That's when you know you're having a good time.
Mm-hmm.
So this is about that time where we go around and tell everybody what you could do and what you're doing and all that stuff. So let's go ahead and start with my man Dan, who loves himself some dan. We didn't even talk about dandaran. I just like saying the word dandaran.
Well, let's do
I really like
another
that,
anime.
Wait, hold on.
A year from now, and we can see if Caesar's watched or read anything.
Before you go, what's your name, Dan? Tell me about dandaran. What's the synopsis?
Dandadan is about two main characters, Okarun and Momo, and one doesn't believe in aliens, the other one doesn't believe in spirits, and so they try to prove each other wrong in the beginning, and it ends up going on this wild twist. So, but basically in the beginning they don't believe in what the other one believes in, and then they end up trying to convince each other, and it backfires on them, and it creates this crazy story. It's a very simplistic way to look at it, but it's a great story, and it's an even better anime, and the music isn't bad either.
The music's amazing.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds horrible. All right, go ahead. Let us know what you're doing and all that stuff.
Well, I guess first of all, Caesar, I just want to thank you for entertaining us, and having this topic. I know, the more we talk about things like this, I think even if we bring one or two more people in to the hobby, it just continues to grow, whether it's comics, manga, anime, whatever it is, movies, toys, whatever. And that's what we do. We all love this pop culture and this collectible community. So that's all we're trying to do is just make people interested. But if you don't find me here on the comic menu, soon to be the Real Dracula's Wolf, Podcast After Dark coming soon. You can find me on Instagram, Tree City Comics. I just today, not a huge deal, but I hit 4,000 followers. So just
Yeah.
yeah, it was just big appreciation to the community. I just love the community. I always say the books are the bonus. It's always about the people. So I find me there on Instagram. Let's connect and talk about all the things I'm reading, watching, buying, collecting. Every Wednesday, new comic book day, I'm going getting my pull file and I write about the books I'm reading. So if you don't want to be spoiled, don't read my Wednesday post. But if you don't mind it, I'd love to connect, and you can tell me if I'm hitting the mark, or if you like the book, or if I didn't read a book that you think I should have read. Let me know. Aside from Tree City Comics, I'm part of the Comic Underground. Thanks, Mark. Appreciate you. The Comic Underground is a great movement on Instagram that builds a real positive and safe collecting community. They hold sales almost every night, live sales, and they connect sellers and buyers from all different places. And in the end of June, they're going to get ready to have their Anticon virtual convention, and it's going to be chocked full of follow the Comic Underground on Instagram, because you'll be able to get all this news as it happens. But at the end of June, Anticon is this event, a 3-day event where they bring in creators, they have contests, we've got sales, we've got variety shows, quiz shows. I mean, it is so entertaining, and it's going to be 3 jam-packed days of just amazing stuff. So, again, give me a follow, Tree City Comics, give the Comic Underground a follow, and make sure you're following everybody that's been on this panel, because they're all fucking awesome people, truly.
Truly. Thank you so much. Let's go with you, Sam. What do you got going on?
My God. Do we have anything we're releasing? Oh my God, I can't even keep track, Caesar. We have our Absolute Batman number 20 still available. 1,000 print run, and I think we're down to like 300 sets left. So it's doing pretty well. We have a bunch of pre-sales up. One for an amazing book called If Destruction Be Our Lot by Matt Rosenberg. God, we have so much stuff coming, probably like 15 exclusives. So give me a follow at Comic Sam Collects on Instagram. That's where you'll see the reveals and the announcements, and the on sale links will be there too. You can find me on Whatnot under Comic Sam. Just finished an Invincible sale that was absolutely crazy. So I looked to try and bring. It was insane. It was an 8-hour stream, and we sold every single issue. Yeah, it was nuts. But we did all $1 starts on every single issue of Invincible, and some were near mint plus. So that's the kind of deals I like to bring to the community, and I like to just help collectors out. So give me a follow, shoot me a message, and I just appreciate the opportunity to be here with all of you, and then launch something new too, Caesar. So
yeah, it's gonna go.
Exciting, man.
Hey Ben, that's Joey right there. Actually, Joey
I saw
Solo.
that. So thanks a ton, Joey. It was great.
Yeah, you made his weekend.
Made my
all
weekend.
right. Yeah. Tell me.
So in regards to doing stuff, I am lucky enough to be working on a couple pages for IDW's Ninja Turtles issue 300, which is what I've been drawing as we're talking here. And so I really appreciate letting the time fly and making this a lot more fun for me. And that's the fun stuff that I've got going on.
You don't have any more cons that you're attending?
Not right now. I really have never really done much conventions, and so this was in a lot of ways an example of why I would like to do a lot more.
Yeah. It was. You got a taste. It was pretty fun.
Yeah.
So as you guys been hearing, and I announced it, and I'll announce again next week. Next week is our last show on the comic menu. The comic menu will no longer exist. The comic menu will be kaput. But no fear, these faces that you see will be on my new podcast. We just changed it at hours today. The Real Dracula's Wolf podcast after dark. It's going to be, we're going to try to do new stuff, try to build the YouTube channel. I did add one addition is that Mark, you saw him, Mark Fenton will be a regular on the podcast. He's going to be one of the. He'll be joining Sam, Ish, and Dan as part of the guests. So the days that Ish can't make it, Mark will be there. The days that Sam works a little too late, Mark will be there. So, and Dan is always there. He's my right hand. He's what makes me strong on my within my
The wind
soul.
beneath.
Right hand.
He is the
Backhand.
wind beneath my nuts. Southwest Comic Book and Creator Showcase. That was.
Oh my God, you said it correctly.
I know. Yeah, I did because I'm looking at it right now. Yeah, Southwest Comic Book and Creator Showcase. That was the con this past weekend where I got to meet Ben and other fantastic. So it was a room of talent. My God, the Brett Booths and the Aaron Campbells and Larry Wells was there, which I'm going to bring him on the new podcast. Him and his wife will be interviewing the creator of Cherry as well. We met a lot of people. Mark and Ben will also be cooking something up soonish as well. That's according from Mark.
Yes.
And listen, go check out Mark's stuff. What is the name of your stuff, Mark? Redemption? Is that what it's called? Your book? We're gonna have a Latino panel. We're gonna have an all-black panel. That sounds right. African American panel. I don't care. Where's Ish? If Ish was here, I could say it. Other than that, we have so many things planned. It's been fucking funny, and I'm looking forward to it. And once again, you can see me on the Instagrams, The Real Dracula's Wolf. I just dropped a new reel with my buddy who's Key Guard. Someone's like, "Are you getting paid for that?" Like, no, man, I just like the product. It's pretty badass. It makes my slaps pop. Go watch the reel. I did a voiceover, some stuff, and there it is. Merciless. Go read. Merciless, The Accursed as well. It's our buddy Mark's. Mark is becoming a good friend of the show and a friend of mine. Hopefully he'll be over at my house on the 9th. We have a thing cooking here for comic books. We got a lot of stuff going on, people. This is fucking fun. This is exciting for me. It should be exciting for Ben because he's going to be on the show more often.
Hey, thanks.
He is. And
We'll
he
do a
does
monthly
what
manga
Ryan.
show.
No. Maybe bi-monthly or tri-monthly. Is there a tri-monthly? Can we do a third quarter anime show? I think that's what we're gonna probably do. Anyways, all right, guys. So we'll see you next week. Ben, stay behind for the green room, and that's it, everybody. Have a nice week, and we'll talk to you later.